Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Tulani Mbenge comes good. He wins the IBO welterweight title. Okay, you can say that it's one of the lesser belts, but he thoroughly deserved it. He got a win over Michael McKinson on the undercard of the Adam Nazim versus Hara Davies fight, and he thoroughly deserved it. I had it 116, 112, which was the same as two of the judges. One of the judges had it 117, 111, and quite simply, he just outworked McKinson. McKinson showed a terrific heart, terrific engine, lots of guts, but he just didn't have the power to keep Mbenge off him. And if you look at McKinson's record, he's only got 4 KOs or 4 stoppages in 26 wins. The one defeat came back in August of 2022 when he fought Virgil Ortiz Jr. And even though he had his moments early on, he was down in the 8th and 9th rounds and got stopped in 9. He hasn't got the power to keep a swarming, it's like Mbenge was very unfussy in his work. He simply positioned his feet, in front of McKinson and let his hands go. There was nothing. I'm not saying it was unintelligent fighting, because Mbenge was firing lots of punches and very precise punches. All of them looked like arm punches, like he was placing his fists on the southpaw McKinson. And he was doing some good work. He was letting his hands go, and he was mixing up the power. So he was touching you, and then he'd ping over a harder punch. Very impressive, intelligent, water on rock, as we say. I always use that phrase. That type of, grinding, grueling, wear you down sort of fight. And McKinson, to some degree, went with him. But he just could not, he couldn't keep him off him. He just couldn't manage to... He couldn't manage to get any kind of rhythm going. He couldn't manage to... It's weird because against Ortiz and in this fight, McKinson sort of fought in close. He sort of wanted to stand in the pocket and exchange. And without the power, he can't really... I suppose maybe he thinks the eye of the storm is the safest. But he was trying to, outfight the guy. And Mbenge was just... he's 33 years old now, Mbenge. He was fighting like a 25-year-old with the energy. Very high output. And he thoroughly deserved his win. And Mbenge, he came in with 20 wins, 15 KOs, and 2 defeats. And the 2 defeats were on points. He lost a very close fight, which was over in France, to Suleiman Sissoko. A lot of people thought he won that. That was a majority decision, but that he lost. He lost a majority decision. That was a couple of years ago, getting on for 2 years ago. And then if you go back to 2019, he lost to Sebastian Formella. That was for the IBO welterweight title as well. And he was, Formella at the time was undefeated and isn't a bad European level fighter. So Mbenge, who's from South Africa and has done some serious travelling. He's fought in Germany, France, now he's fought in Britain. I don't think he's fought in Britain before. He's come good, and very often you have these, African fighters, and some of them are terrific, but a lot of them, they don't travel that well. Mbenge does, and at 33, he's come good. As for McKinson, I think he's a very good European level operator. I just think the lack of power just doesn't do him any favours. And he finds himself dragged into fights where he'd much rather, as a southpaw, as a southpaw stylist, he'd much rather be, holding the range and, pinging the jab and pinging the left hand. In the first round, he caught Mbenge and shook him. Definitely shook him. So when he's fresh and when he's got that, that energy, he's able to... The power don't matter because he can move his feet a lot and he can, ping you and time you and counter punch and make it awkward being a southpaw. But over 12 rounds at world level, I think he's kind of found out a little bit, really. The lack of power don't do him any good. But well done to Mbenge. I hope he gets some big paychecks. He's got that IBO belt, which is a nice little bargaining chip. And he thoroughly deserved it. And, it's good to see good judging. We often slag off judges saying, they're terrible, and some of them are bent, and a lot of them are incompetent. None of that. None of that with this fight. 2 116, 112s, and a 117, 111. Perfect judging. Really, really good judging. So well done to them. And yeah, what did you think of this fight? It was intriguing rather than thrilling. I don't think it was boring. I wasn't bored watching it, but it definitely was. It was revealing. It was revealing. I think McKinson has found his level at European. He can come back. He's only 30. He's not a bad fighter. But I'd like to see, I'd like to see him, maybe. I mean, the IBO belt, you could argue that it's not even European level. Some people that have fought for it. But we'll see. At welterweight, I mean, I always thought he should fight Conor Benn. I thought he'd give Conor Benn a lot of fits. But then that would be interesting. Conor Benn, who likes the explosive ammunition, and McKinson, who's tough, durable, but is more of a stylist. I thought that would be a good matchup stylistically. But Ben is doing the sort of cash-out thing with Eubank, and the casuals are going to love that. So McKinson's a little bit out in the cold now, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, leave your comments below if you've got any. I should also point out Mbenge survived a bad cut over one of his eyes. Sort of slice. I think it might have been across the eyelid or just above it. So that makes his victory all the more sweet. But if you've got any comments, leave them below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Please do it. You help us out. Cost you nothing. Takes a second. And also hit the like button because they count the likes. So I'm told. All right, ladies and gentlemen, more boxing to come. Bye for now.